Son of a
Glitch.
The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time. Oh man, what an adventure, what a story. What the hell is going on? The sheer number of glitches achievable in this game were far too much to pass up, and so in this episode, here's a showcase of some of the best and strangest glitches in Ocarina of Time. First off, let's escape Kokiri Forest without tackling the first dungeon. Once you grab the Kokiri sword and the Deku shield, head for the main exit of Kokiri Forest. You'll of course be stopped by one of the Know-It-All brothers. But if you go to this wall, crouch with the R button and then in quick succession tap A and then B, this will happen. Now on the other side, you can get rid of him altogether. Get him on the left side of you and then slowly approach the exit. He'll fall straight through the wall, meaning you can now leave the forest. The second way to leave the forest is something called a Navi dive. Head into the Lost Woods and then to the entrance to Zora's River. Run towards the entrance at this angle and Link will automatically jump and grab the ledge. With Navi trying to get your attention, mash the B button to jump slash and then spam up C to speak to Navi. You'll drop into the pool and the game will put you on the ground as the text appears, because this is what the game expects would happen in this situation. Close the text box and then you can simply swim through the entrance to Zora's River. Nicely done. Another cool glitch is the infinite sword glitch. Find an object that Link can interact with using the A button, and while crouching by holding R, tap the B button to stab and then immediately tap A to interact with a sign, for example. If performed correctly, Link's sword should now glow white as if being swung. The sword is now constantly active without needing to swing it, and anything that collides with it takes damage. The camera is also glitched but can be controlled using Z targeting. Link also loses the ability to automatically jump off objects and fall off ledges. You also don't just have to use the sword either, you can ISG with anything that allows crouch stabbing such as Deku sticks. Here's a cool trick that makes crossing Hyrule feel that little bit more bearable. This is the Super Slide and it's performed by using bombs. Pull out a bomb and then shield drop it, and then holding Z and R together, move backwards so you don't grab the bomb again. Before it explodes, mash A to roll forwards once and hopefully the bomb damage will send you backwards like this. When you let go of the R button, the Super Slide will end. There is a definite timing for this, with the roll happening just as the bomb is about to explode. The Super Slide is the fastest known way to travel in the game, so this trick is pretty useful. Oh boy, look at him go! You can get to the bottom of the well early using two of the previous tricks. You can Navi dive to the bottom using a jump slash and spamming up C like this, or you could use the infinite sword glitch. Go to this sign to perform the infinite sword glitch and then hunt down a cuckoo. Put your sword away and the ISG is still active, but you can still cause damage to the cuckoo, so grab it quickly. With this flaming cuckoo that you're now constantly attacking, head over to the well and Z target so you're facing away from the well with your back to it. Now shield drop the cuckoo and then immediately perform a backflip to fall into the water during the cuckoo rage cutscene. When you regain control of Link, quickly get into the bottom of the well entrance. Now that you're in here, there's some cool glitches you can do. The first is the actor glitch, which unloads all of the enemies and properties of the area, making for a neat shortcut to the Lens of Truth. Once you grab a key, head for the crawl space leading to a door with a lock. During this cutscene, hold the control stick slightly down from down left and press A to roll a few frames after control is regained, and then mash A to open the door. If performed correctly, you'll hear the door opening but you'll remain in the same room. This glitch loads the actors in the room you're about to enter and unloads them from the one you were already in. So going back through the tunnel, you'll discover all the enemies have gone, and also this pool of water no longer behaves as it should, meaning you can get into this tunnel and crawl through. Once you have the Lens of Truth, there's one more glitch you can perform that will get you some bomb chews way before you're supposed to have them. We're going to use this Skulltula to clip through these vines and get to the basement. Now there are many setups for this trick, but by far the easiest is with Deku Nuts. Stand at the top of the vines and use a Deku Nut to stun the Skulltula. Then while Z targeting, walk backwards off the ledge to grab the vines and then go down them till Link looks like this. As the Skulltula awakens from being stunned, quickly press down and B and then immediately hold up to grab the vines. As you take damage, you'll be pushed through the vines and land in the basement. Let's take a look at that again slowly. If Link takes damage on the frame where he grabs the vines, he's pushed through. Obviously this is a well-timed action which may require some practice, but once you're through, you'll arrive in the basement which isn't loaded correctly. Now make your way to this gunk and there are small pockets of water that will take you upwards towards the room with the bomb chews in a chest. The water will try to carry you to the left, so when going directly upwards for a short time, hold down and to the right to get through an invisible ceiling. Mashing A to swim sometimes helps, and when you get to the correct height, jump slash into the room and grab those bomb chews. Next up is the Door of Time skip. We're going to essentially jump through this gap in the door. Run to the left side of the door and facing the wall, Z-target to line up the camera. Then tap down to get Link facing the camera and then Z-target again. Then into view mode, line up the left edge of the R in return with the wall so they're touching like this. Z-target again and now backflip once and then just slightly holding down left, perform a roll and then side hop and finally tap A to do a jump slash through the door. Okay, let's go through that again. Face the wall and target. Tap down and target again. In view mode, line up the R in return to get the angle and then Z-target once more. Then backflip, hold slightly down left just barely and then roll to the left into the very corner. Still holding down left a little firmer now, side hop to the left and then on the frame where Link is out of shot, tap A to jump slash and you should now be on the other side. You can now become Adult Link and you've skipped getting the Spiritual Stones and the Song of Time. It's important to note that once you've become an adult, the Door of Time is still sealed, but if you save and reset then reopen your file, you'll start on the other side of the door still as an adult. Bottles are one of the most interesting items in the game. No, I'm being serious. Well, for glitches anyway. To explain, we're going on an adventure, a reverse bottle adventure. Reverse bottle adventure is a glitch whereby placing a bottle item on the B button allows us to write the internal item value of a set of bottles outside the space reserved for the inventory. But first we must begin our adventure with some magic beans from Zora's River. These will be important later. You get these once you've escaped from Kokiri Forest, and then using a cucko, you can get behind the waterfall by lining up like this and then jumping off the ledge and holding up. Once inside Zora's domain, grab a Deku Nut and a Deku Stick and then subsequently break the Deku Stick. Proceed to the diving game and get all of the rupees to get the silver scale from the Zora. You'll need the silver scale to dive to the entrance of Lake Hylia, so once you have it, leave Zora's domain like so. Now at Lake Hylia, grab Ruto's bottle with the letter inside. Remember that magic bean we got? Well, we're going to plant it next to the lab at Lake Hylia, and once that's done, head back to Zora's domain. Present the bottle to the king and oh my god, I can't believe how long this takes. Go and perform the Door of Time skip, and then once you're an adult, go to Kakariko Village and get some bugs in your bottle. You can find bugs under this rock. Then go to the Cuckoo Lady who gives you the pocket egg, which will hatch as you cross Hyrule Field to get back to Lake Hylia. Our magic bean is now a magic leaf that will take us over to the otherwise unreachable fishing pond so we can now perform the next glitch. And here we're going to use a glitch to steal the fishing rod. To do this, pay to start fishing and then swim as close as you can to the shore without Link standing up. Dive using A and hold it until Link's feet are sticking out of the water and then mash the B button. Link should now pop out of the water and then start casting the fishing line, but he's still able to move around. Now you can go to the door and press A to open it, even though no such option appears. Now that we've successfully stolen the rod, we need to have the B button dimmed in order to get a Deku Stick on the B button instead. To do this, head out of Lake Hylia and use a ladder. Hey, what do you know, the B button is dimmed, so now we can press start and voila! There's a Deku Stick on our B button. Pressing start before the B button is dimmed puts the Master Sword back on B, which is why we use the ladder, but water also has the same dimming effect. You may remember that I broke the only Deku Stick I had earlier. Well, this was to avoid a crash. On the N64 version, using a Deku Stick on B will crash the game, so to avoid this, we now have no Deku Sticks to use. Now back in Kakariko and with a Deku Stick on the B button, we want to get a bottle on the B button and finally begin the glitch. To do this, drop the bugs you grabbed earlier from the bottle and then catch them again. This action will put a bottle in Link's hand and it will be blue, which is what we need. Next we need to do a backflip, and while in the air, press the button that the bottle is on. In this case it's C right, and also the B button before we hit the ground again. So that's backflip, C right, B, all in quick succession, and now you should have a bottle on your B button. Now finally we can begin the glitch, or as it's otherwise known, RBA. Whichever item we want to RBA must be on the C right button in order to work. If we put the Pocket Cucko on the C right button and then drop our bugs on the B button, we're suddenly awarded the Adult's Wallet, and then when we swing for the bugs to catch them again, we now have black gauntlets which have the strength of the golden gauntlets. Next, we need to wake Talon with the Pocket Cucko and then take it back to the Cuckoo Lady to receive Kajiro. With Kajiro in our inventory, we can get even more items. This is what my item screen looks like before the bug drop, and then once I drop them I get a glitched quiver that holds 20 arrows and then also a bomb bag that holds 40 bombs. Having these items has some weird effects in the game. For instance, if you play and win the shooting gallery game in Kakariko Village, you can do this. Yes, that's right, you can pick up the Archery Guy. The Archery Guy, like many NPCs behind desks, doesn't have any legs as Nintendo never intended for the player to see the character model behind the counter. You can pick up a Hylian shield from Kakariko Graveyard at this point, and if you switch bombs from C down to C right and then drop bugs and catch them again, you can get bombs from Dampy's grave in a pot that always has a bomb drop. The rest of the RBA stuff follows the Adult Trade side quest. Take Kajiro to the Lost Woods and give it to this guy who gives you the odd mushroom, which you take all the way back to Kakariko Village through Goron City, which is why we got the bombs. Once you get the odd potion, we can do the next RBA, which will give us 2 spiritual stones, and then catching the bugs again gives us all 3 spiritual stones and the Song of Time. Next we need to go back to the Lost Woods and trade the odd potion for the Poacher's Saw, and RBAing that gives us Zelda's Lullaby, Serenade of Water, Nocturne of Shadows, and Prelude of Light. Finally, if we trade the Poacher's Saw up in Gerudo Valley for the Broken Goron Sword and RBA that, we'll get the Forest, Water, Shadow, and Spirit Medallion. For you to have the Shadow and Spirit Medallion, the game assumes you have to have the other medallions, as the only way you could have the Shadow is if you had the Forest, Fire, and Water medallions and played the Nocturne cutscene. The game only checks to see if you have the Spirit and Shadow medallions to play the Light Arrow cutscene, and now that you have them both, you can go to the Temple of Time and get the Light Arrows. If you got magic along the way and picked up a fairy bow, you could now essentially go and fight Ganon and finish the game. Another glitch occurs when you have the fairy bow, Gerudo card, and Epona and go and play the Gerudo archery minigame and win twice. Now you can open an invisible chest to receive your item, but it kinda just looks like Link pulls it out of her butt, giving this glitch the appropriate name of the Ash Chest. Another useful glitch is Ocarina Items, where you can play any item as an ocarina. Drop and catch bugs in a bottle like before and then do a backflip, and while in the air, hit the button that the bottle is on and then the item that you want to play as an ocarina before you hit the ground. Now Link will play that item as an ocarina, which is useful in some speedruns that don't require you to grab either the fairy ocarina or the Ocarina of Time, but need you to play a tune or warp at certain points using ocarina songs. One of the most famous glitches in Ocarina of Time is the Swordless Link glitch, which can be achieved in a few ways. In the final fight with Ganon, when your sword is knocked away and the battle commences, with a bottle of bugs or a fish, drop and catch them again and then use the Ocarina Items glitch to play a song and warp out of the fight, and you'll now be swordless. Or you can steal the fishing rod and then enter water or climb a ladder, and when the B button is dimmed, press start, which also renders you swordless. This glitch has some entertaining side effects, like the fact you can equip any item on the C buttons while riding Epona. For instance, using the hookshot whilst riding Epona enables you to hookshot something and then dismount from Epona. Link will default to the height that you use the hookshot and can fly around an entire area with seemingly infinite reach. When Link touches the point where the hookshot and the object meet, he's fired straight into the air. If you use bombs or Deku Nuts whilst riding Epona, Link will dismount and now Epona and Link move in sync with one another, and pressing A puts you back on Epona no matter how far away you are. Another funny glitch comes in the form of Link swimming on land. Simply Z-target and move backwards in the water and then switch to wearing the iron boots. And then out of the pause menu, hold forward, and when you reach land, Link will continue swimming. You can then remove the iron boots to move quicker, but this glitch just looks hilarious. Well, you know, Link always was a fish out of water. There's a shortcut in the Forest Temple which helps you skip practically the entire temple. Go up the stairs and with your back to the wall, use view mode to line up a backflip roughly like this. Hold Z to Z target and then backflip over the banister. Carefully walk along this edge, as going too far to the right means you'll pop back in bounds. When you arrive at the edge, hang off the end and pull yourself back up and face towards the door, and then Z target and hold down left. You should now pop through the floor and then just tap A to jump down. Now you'll be under the stairs and out of bounds, to which you then simply run and auto jump off the ledge and then into the loading zone for the Phantom Ganon room. You'll of course have skipped the fairy bow, but you can use the hookshot to score some hits on Ganon to defeat him. In the water temple, you can use an out of bounds trick to float to the start of the temple. Hookshot this wooden post and then it should eventually give you an angle where you'll be pushed through the wall. Once through, go around the outside of the walls till you reach a section of water that will take you upwards and back to the start of the temple. But be careful, as not all the area is filled with water and you'll fall off the edge if you're not in the right spot. If you have the hover boots and the Megaton hammer, you can skip a large amount of the temple altogether. Stand against this wall and with the Megaton hammer strike the wall and quickly pause. Use pause buffering to find this frame where Link is standing and then equip the hover boots, and the recoil should send you across the water and then you should grab the ledge if you hold down on the analog. There's a way to skip the boss key too, as shown in this clip using a technique called bomb hovering. If you ride Epona into this tent in Gerudo Valley and then get into the load zone, Link will now be inside the tent whilst the game technically thinks Link is still on horseback. Play the Serenade of Water and then warp back to Lake Hylia, as this is the only place this glitch works. When you arrive, Link is nowhere to be seen. He's invisible but playable. Hey, it must be a ghost lifting those bushes. And if you use the hookshot, you warp to Epona and then back again when you stop using it. A huge game-breaking glitch is the wrong warp glitch. It's a very technical glitch and results in you being warped to Ganon's tower as Child Link, using a warp point spawned after you defeat Gohma. Drop some bugs and then catch them again. Go into the corner and then perform 8 backflips like so, only on the 8th backflip you do the Ocarina Items glitch right on the edge of the blue warp. By playing the ocarina on the edge of the blue warp, you can cancel it during the warp animation. Then you can move around while the warp tries to take Link away. The movement through the room is to delay Link in a consistent way to reach the door on the correct frame, and then the warp's timer is not processed in the hallway since it's far enough off camera and not focused on the warp. On the last frame of the warp animation, it will try to load Kokiri Forest, and then it will load the Kokiri Emerald cutscene within the forest. To reach the cutscene, the game adds an offset value of 5 to Kokiri Forest, but if you load the Deku Tree basement on the correct frame, you can overwrite Kokiri Forest with the basement. This means the game will add the cutscene offset value of 5 to the Deku Tree basement instead, and so Deku Tree basement plus 5 equals Ganon's tower as Child Link. Pretty crazy stuff. And finally, in Ganon's tower, a cool out of bounds glitch will help you skip all of the trials. In the spirit room, move the statue onto the blue rug like so, and then target the corner of the door and jump slash till you're through. Now you just have to navigate your way to the central tower, which you can line up using the coloured beams of light. If you manage to get into the loading zone, you'll have skipped all of Ganon's trials. Man, that was a lot of glitches, and this was probably the most ambitious episode yet, but hopefully there's some cool glitches you guys can try out and have fun with. And if you like this episode, hit that like button, share it with everyone you know and love, but most importantly, please subscribe if you want to see more from the series.